So I don't want to spend a lot of time explaining Calvinism, Reformed Tulip Theology, but this is questions for them. And, right here you can read for yourself. If you are a reformer, this should make sense as to why I'm asking it, I think. If you're not, well, that's okay too. Here are the questions. Why did Jesus become fully man? Why do most Christian churches, real Christian churches, make part of the gospel? Jesus is totally human. And that's an important piece of the gospel because God demanded a perfect sacrifice. And the only perfect sacrifice was human for human. So wait a second now. This is where the problem comes in. If only human for human can be exchanged, the only name that saves, Acts 4:12, is the humanity of Jesus. Doesn't this itself prove unlimited atonement? Here's scripture for you related to the doctrine of man. Now, if you actually were to look any of those up, some of them you'd say, well, that doesn't have to do with man. Well, all of these verses do connect with some time sitting down and talking about it. So again, why was Jesus fully man? If it wasn't to pay the penalty for all men, then why is that such an important piece of the gospel? Question 2, how can any logical thought to humans, rational decision-making, rational answers and conclusions, how can it exist? Remember, Calvinists teach sovereignty. Sovereignty to them means a total control of all things, meaning God pre-planned or decreed all things. He never explains why he has to control all things. You just kind of have to speculate, yet for his purposes, for his will, according to Tulip Theology. But if we make mistakes along the way, if we sin, if we fall short, and we all agree, Christians all agree we do, how do we know that truth exists if God is the author of mistakes and incoherent thinking and false truth and false doctrines and lies and confusion and mistakes? How can we ever be sure about anything? How do we know that the answers we come to, the conclusions we come to are in any way rational? How can we trust our fellow man? How can we trust our fellow neighbor? How can we trust our pastor? Now, in case you don't believe me, anybody who might be new to this and just happen to stop by, this is what John Calvin and the Westminster Confession, two authorities in the Reformer circles, in the Tulip circles, so you can read that for yourself. So head scratchers abound. How do we know truth exists? How can we really have any rational thought if predetermination and sovereignty, the way Calvinists teach it, is true? And why the doctrine of man? Why, totally divine, totally human at the same time? If it wasn't for the perfect ransom, the perfect payment, the perfect substitute for mankind. Okay, head scratchers abound.